One of Them Days, the new SZA movie, or as I have been referring to it, the unofficial Nope spin-off focusing on Emerald Haywood following the events of Nope. Honestly, this is just the last time I've seen Keke Palmer in a movie since Nope in theaters, so I'm really happy to see her, anything she's in. Going into this movie, I kind of assumed that she would be the backbone of the movie, SZA would be more supporting comedy, but I really assumed Keke Palmer would be doing most of the heavy lifting. She is really good in this, and SZA's really good too. I feel like you can't cast someone, they cast SZA unless you have the talent, and she really does have this performing talent. I knew her as a musician, as a singer, but getting to see her act in this is really great. She's really good in the movie. The film follows two friends, Drew and Alyssa, who are both scrambling to get rent money. SZA's boyfriend, she's Alyssa, pawns their rent money off to kind of start his own t-shirt business. Chaos ensues. This is a really fun time at the movies. I recently saw Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and I think this falls into a similar category. Odd to say, it's almost like an adult version of that film, and really, I don't mean that. I just mean these are both two well-meaning, simple comedies. They aren't bending over backwards trying to do anything incredibly different. They're fun to watch, they're quick, they're just fast-paced, and they have a lot of great comedy in them, and they're very clever. I think a movie like this, One of Them Days, came out in January, and part of me was thinking that, it's a January release, it's a small movie. Most movies that come out in January are not great. They're small movies. Companion came out, so did Dogman, and those were both really small, kind of, nothing burger movies. Companion, as much as I liked it technically, and as much as I like the performances, it really isn't a movie that's, I'm going to remember for years to come. It's fun, it's satisfying, and it gets the job done, but it's nothing incredible. One of Them Days, though, I did really like because it really sticks with this strong kind of like ticking clock structure, which is really something that's great. I thought this would just be, a typical buddy comedy. I didn't really know anything about the conflict of this movie, except that the girls had to get their rent money back. I'd seen trailers for this movie. I really do like movies, though, that are really small, really contained, really funny. The writing is really good. The performances are really good. If you want a 95-minute movie that's fun, that goes by quick, that makes you feel good, that isn't, bringing tons of conflict in to, stress you out, but at the same time, it has a heart. It has an emotional backbone. You really care about Drew and Alyssa and their characters. I like how Keke Palmer is the more responsible one of the roommates. She's a waitress. She works at this restaurant, and she's trying to get a full-time position in the management as a franchise manager. And Alyssa is more the kind of ditzy one who isn't as responsible. She's the one who loses the rent money, and she's the one getting them into trouble. And these two roommates have this really great back and forth, that kind of back and forth you want in a great buddy comedy. It fuels buddy comedies. It makes them as memorable as they should be. It also has a really good ticking clock kind of plot, where they have to get the rent money, and if they don't, they're going to be evicted. And then on top of that, they run into some more trouble when they steal a pair of sneakers, and then they find out that person they stole these sneakers from is actually like a mob boss. That stuff kind of feels like a bit underdeveloped, but at the same time, it's a movie that's constantly giving you such fun energy. It is setting these little moments up, like they set it up at the beginning that there's this kind of powerful mob figure out there, and then they pay that off later. It's nothing, crazy deep or extreme, but it really does get the job done, and it's very functional, and it works. And on top of just, being functional, like a movie that kind of does what it has to do to move the plot along, it's very funny. And the banter between SZA and Keke Palmer is definitely the fuel that keeps this fire going. Because you've definitely seen movies like this. A lot of people are saying this is a retread of Friday, the Ice Cube movie from the 90s. I really just think this is fun. It's a feel-good movie. It's well-made and well-intentioned. So one of those comedies that you don't get a lot of nowadays. Every comedy is now trying to do something different. It's trying to be an action film. It's trying to be a horror comedy, like Abigail, or, like that shitty Apple movie Ghosted. No comedy movie can ever just be a comedy. This doesn't really, or Love Hurts, which came out recently, which was action. This is just straight up comedy. It has a heart, it has likable characters, it has great conflict, it's a lot of fun. And I really do want more of these comedy movies that are just comedies. There was another buddy comedy that came out 2 years ago, really, Joyride. And there haven't been really, these female-centric buddy comedies, at least that I've seen, that are funny and not like really merging a bunch of genres together. Like, I don't need to see a movie about like, oh, two CIA operatives must work together, or that, there's some action involved. It's just a straight up old-fashioned buddy comedy, and that's what I really loved about it. So I really recommend One of Them Days. It was, not outstanding. Like, it had a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes at first, and I was thinking, like, that's really great. I don't know if it's, like, perfect. It does have a bit of a formulaic quality to it, but it gets the job done. And the story and the technical elements here are all great. It's just really a well-fashioned, put-together movie. So I really enjoyed One of Them Days. I'd recommend watching it. I did see it as soon as it started streaming. It's one of those movies that I did want to see in the theater, but I was like, I can wait till streaming, just because it didn't seem like it was... I think this would be great in a theater with a great crowd, and honestly, I do think that might be a better experience, but it's out streaming on digital, so go check it out. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and check out my next review.